Hello.
Yo,
Are we
hello
late
everyone.
today, Roy?
Hello. Yeah, yeah, very late.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fix Collab Behind the Scene, hence Fix Collab
That's
BTS.
right.
You know what's funny? I always thought this BTS thing is a Korean thing.
Oh, yeah, that what do you call that? K-pop. It's
Yep.
not.
And when the idea was, when we wanted to call it BTS, I was like, dude, are we jumping on the whole Korean trend thing? He said, no, it's behind the scene. Lol. So welcome guys. My name is Fitri. I'm your host, and as usual, every day we try to bring you, technology news, technology trends, and we talk about, you know, what where the world is heading in terms of technology and how
Mhm.
we as business owner and people who runs businesses can benefit from this.
That's
The
right.
no, funny enough, I actually put it episode 4 when it's supposed to be episode 3. So the past two episodes,
Never mind. We can
we
do episode 3 tomorrow.
so the first two episode, if you guys have not watched it, you guys can go. If you're watching from YouTube, you're watching from Facebook, or you're watching from LinkedIn,
LinkedIn.
you guys can scroll through our feed and watch the previous episodes. Basically,
Yeah,
it's our
fix collab.
initiative. Yep, it's our initiative to bring you guys, like I said earlier, the tech news, what's currently the in thing, what's trending, what's viral, and yeah. So before we start, guys, I want to introduce myself and this gentleman on my left.
That's right.
My name is Fitri Joroji, and I run a company called Fix Collab. Basically, we are a software development company. We specializes in web and app development. We also do a little bit of corporate websites, and we are a bunch of technology enthusiasts. We keep
Yeah.
ourselves updated with a lot of these new technologies, and yeah, we try to bring it to you guys. And Roy, introduce yourself, man.
Yeah. So my name is Leroy. You can call me Roy. I am the BD Business Development Manager for Face Collab. Uh, yeah, like Fitri said, we do web and app. So if you guys have any inquiries, you can just always reach out to us anytime. We'll be sure to be there at the other end for you guys. Always.
So what? Why do you look sleepy, man? Did
Huh?
you not have enough sleep today, or what?
You know, it's not that I'm not having enough sleep today. It's supposed to sleep right now.
Yeah. So what are we going to talk about today, Roy? I saw that we are going to talk about virtual reality, VR, AR, and how businesses
Expo.
can benefit from it.
That's right.
So,
We are gonna talk about Virtual Expo.
right,
And currently there's one that is being I mean is ongoing right now. What is it called? Finn?
uh,
World
there's
World Dubai Expo.
correct. So currently there is a big worldwide exhibition in Dubai that is currently happening. It covers a lot of things. So we are gonna show you guys how these guys use virtual reality to actually give a hint or get people to, experience this expo without having to be in Dubai. And why is
Yeah.
this important? Because, well, if there's one thing that COVID taught us is that it's time for all this digitalization initiative. It's time for companies or businesses to start looking into, hey, how can we start doing things virtual and kind of get more people to experience what we have to offer, so on and so forth. So before we start, as usual,
Let's let's go. Let's go.
let's go. the intro. It's weird that I think we should start our intro way early, not do the introduction and then jump into the intro. So let us know, guys, if you think the intro should be done way earlier. We are still new in this whole live stream stuff. Do it
No, it's like
because
it's like we're doing a mukadimah, in buku. So that was just
well,
now the mukadimah.
oh well. I want to show you
Yeah,
guys something. I want to start with showing you this thing. Let me just pull up my screen very, very quickly. So right now, there's an event happening, an expo, right? For some of you guys who doesn't know what expo is, basically it's a get together where people just showcase their businesses, showcase what's happening in their ecosystem. So in this context, what's happening in Dubai right now is the Expo 2020 Dubai. Why it's called Expo 2020? It was supposed to happen last year, but because of COVID, uh, it's happening now.
that's
And
right.
the reason why I talk about this is because I had a friend who, Instagram stuff, and I was watching her stories, and I realized that hey, she's actually attending this Expo Dubai thing. And the reason also why we know about this Expo Dubai was because uh, we were once involved in setting up similar website expo for the Malaysian counterpart of this whole exhibition stuff. So
That's right.
Expo Dubai was one of the reference that was used by our client when they wanted to build the website. So when I was browsing the website, something caught my eye. If you notice on the title up here, it says Experience Expo 2020 in virtual.
Virtual.
I mean, obviously, being a tech guy myself, first thing first I do is to click that. And I want to walk you guys through. And to me, I feel that this is how virtual exhibition can be done. Well, there are a lot of ways for that, how you can do virtual, right? Number one is to do a very basic website and then send them the itinerary and then have some sort of, a waiting room where you share the link to them. And this is actually currently the most mainstream way of doing virtual expo. It's not really virtual because the interaction, the element of engagement is not there. So a lot of people currently use Zoom. They gather a
Yeah,
bunch of people and then they share a link, people go into the link and then they will see a video like this, right? But Expo 2020 Dubai take it to a next level. If you watch our previous videos, we talked about the metaverse, why you should pay attention to it, and why this could be the next big thing in history of mankind. So I'm gonna bring you guys to the expo. Let's go to Dubai, guys, without going to Dubai. So once you click that link, you'll be greeted with all this pop-up explaining how to navigate this website and so on and so forth. But the most interesting thing is this interactive map, right?
yes,
So basically, if you're born in the 1990s, this somehow feels like Red Alert game, you know,
oh yeah,
where you can
yeah,
zoom in,
yeah.
where you can click stuff. So as
Oh,
you hover, right, you notice. I mean, first of all, just look at how this map interacts with you. It has
it's so
all this
smooth and snappy.
correct, and then you have all this small animation, and it only highlights actually the place of the event. So this is actually where all the events are happening. And let's go to this center of the attention, Al Was Plaza. So as I click, it actually
Yeah, they
gives a real
got
picture of what it is.
they got birds flying. The
And
real
then
birds.
it gives this itinerary of okay, these are actually what is currently happening. And we actually have this Syria National Day ceremony. Let's watch this. Right. So if I click play, it will actually
أطيب التحيات لأصحاب المعالي والسعادة
Bring me
والمقام
there.
الرفيع وضيوفنا الكرام.
And then just imagine now I can go back and then actually really explore all these places. Just to show
Yeah.
you guys, if I click this opportunity district, then it will load that particular area. And the cool part is, as I hover to every of this building, it actually gives an idea of, okay, this is actually the participating
Countries.
countries who's currently doing an expo about their country. And let's say if I want to figure out what Indonesia is currently promoting, so as I click that thing, you should just look at how interactive it is. And this is actually in real time. This picture, this building is actually a render, what do you call that? A representation, a rendering
3D
of, correct, a 3D,
from
a
the real
3D,
stuff.
correct. So if you're there, you will see the same building.
Yeah.
So if as I go down, I can actually see, actually they have a live performance happening there at this hole, which I can watch.
And then,
And this is what we meant by an immersive experience, guys. Obviously, if you're going to build something like this, we don't think, being a technology guys ourselves, we don't think this is something that is available off the shelf. Obviously, the development team behind this virtual, interactive map is very, very, very experienced in developing. You don't see any, lagging. In fact, you see all that tiny, tiny animation that gives this wow experience. So to think about virtual, right? When we talk about virtual reality, we actually had this meeting. Remember, right? We had this meeting to
yeah,
discuss with our team on how do we give how do we give an
impact.
experience that is good. And
Yeah,
we have come to realize that these experiences comes from what we call visual stimulation.
agree.
Things that can be minute, but when people see it, when they start to appreciate it, they'll realize that hey, this is actually really cool, and that gives them that perception that hey, this virtual thing is actually very, very interesting. So that's one thing that you guys wanna look into if you want to do virtual thing. So when I say do virtual expo, your company may not be hosting this huge, world global scale expo. But if it's just a small expo, you want to start asking yourself, what are these visual stimulations that we could give to get people to go, wow, this is interesting. This, what we're showing, is actually the the extreme case, the best case scenario, where you literally can look
This is the
what is
best.
happening and then click and see the itinerary itself and join and watch the video, watch the recording that's actually happening there. But there's actually another level that you can do it. So we don't have an example. In this context, you see, I have all the settings. In this context, how they design it is just a map base that is very interactive. And as I click those map, it gives me a directory. The itineraries are all arranged in each individual buildings, so to speak. And then, you know what's cool, right?
Right.
That they actually have a dark mode,
Are you
a
serious?
night mode. So tada,
Wow.
it's
Yeah,
actually
yo, that's insane.
night version.
That is really nice. This is, what it reminds me of? Assassin's Creed.
That's cool.
The mess and stuff. Wait, my series on what's wrong? Okay.
Yep. So this brings us to the next thing, guys. Like, eventually, when we talk about your website, right? You want to be able to provide this element of virtual reality or augmented reality, where people don't just, the old way of doing things, right? People look at website as a place for them to just view a two-dimensional, page where they get all this info.
Yeah.
But in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, each website will be an interactive place where everybody go to interact with something. So when people say is website dead, I would say yes. Website is dead if you're just hosting information.
Uh, that's right.
The next thing in website is to host interaction. It's no more information, guys. You want to have interaction. People want to go to the website because they want to do something, right? So this is how you should start thinking. As a business owner yourself, you want to start thinking, hey, how do we provide an interaction on our website? Let's imagine that you own a resort, right? Before this, how your resort website should look like would just be a place of this is our place, and then these are the rates, and this is what people have said about us. This is probably a little bit of news of what's happening around the resort, and contact us. That's how
And
majority of
galleries.
website is. Correct. That's how the majority of website is currently. But you start thinking about adding elements of interactivity into it, you might want to consider doing a virtual tour, because probably people, because we don't know, it's such a new space that we don't know what actually attracts people to your place. But when you have that virtual aspect of things, it gives a clearer picture to the audience of this is how exactly the place looks like. I can roam around,
Yeah.
and if you want to take it to the next even crazy level, you know how Google Street View, you can actually navigate around the place as you move the cursor, as you press the move up, move down, left, right button.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing. Now imagine if you are a manufacturer of an item, or if you are a machinery manufacturer, you want to be able to have a 3D rendering of your end product, so people can flip it around, see how it looks from below, see whether it fits, or if you can actually provide an actual augmented reality where it gives a clear picture. This is how big your product is going to fit in this area. This is how big your product, this piece of machinery, when compared to blah blah blah. So this element of
Yeah.
interactivity will give more confidence to your people that hey, I actually have all the info I needed to experience the product before even purchasing it. Hence, giving you a unfair advantage over your competitors.
Like Apple. Apple is already doing that for their new products. They are already doing that. You can use your phone, go to Apple's website, take a look at any new products, go to the AR, and then just yeah, it'll start rendering the product on wherever you project your camera phone to.
I didn't know about that. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. I, I, I mean, not. I mean, everyone. Whenever there's new, what do you call that, WWDC, everyone will
Mm-hmm.
go take a look at the products, and then oh yeah, that's where I found this AR function. It's on mobile. I'm not sure if it's a desktop. They have it. Yeah,
Let's
try and
see.
take a look. Just
And this,
looking
this,
at.
this. If there's one thing that we can learn from Apple is how they are able to introduce things that they initially take out and introduce and make hype out of it.
Yeah,
Like, just look at these guys. I mean, initially they made a big hoo-ha when they take out all the ports and just putting this USB-C. Now they are reintroducing it and people are going crazy about it. The only thing that Apple can do and none other companies can do. But yeah, I don't
the
think I can
next
see it from from
from the desktop, you gotta use
yep,
mobile. I think.
yep. But you guys get the picture. If you can give a virtual or augmented version of your product that people can in real life, not in real life, using their phone, see this is actually how big the product is. It will give them more confidence. You will be the preferred go-to person when it comes to purchasing because you have this virtual element to it. So that's
I I agree. Um, there's just so much we can do. Let's say with copywriting, right? We want to evoke emotion. We want to provoke the users with words, and it's not an easy thing to do. But
true.
yeah, if we take a look at Apple, Apple is so good at doing that. But I think why is because Apple has been, every time they have new products, new line of products, they do this big event, keynote events, you know. And then also, if you wanna, I mean, other than trying to evoke emotions using words, using text, using photos, using videos, is limited. There's not much experience. I mean, we still wonder like, oh, how does it feel like to be there? How does it feel like to actually hold that
True.
new iPad Mini? Hey, when is iPad Mini coming? Pre-order open already.
I think it's already out there, dude.
Yeah. But then, like you said, Fit, like as we are, yeah, because of this COVID, we are becoming more sort of like physically disconnected
True.
and going into the, I mean, internet looking for interaction, and the most kind of interaction we get is just, someone like my photo, someone comment on this live, and that's it. You're not really experiencing it.
There is no, I would say, visceral stimulus.
Yeah, it's just,
True.
it's the best experience is when we can hit all the five senses of human.
And remember when we talked about the future of websites, how right now most corporate websites is just going to be, I mean, as it is now, a lot of the websites out there, even ours, is just video and written information.
Yeah,
But imagine in the future, you go to the website, you are greeted with a hologram of the founder itself, and this is how the founder looks like, and it it right away answer that deep rooted doubt that a lot of people have when they first want to interact with the company. Who is this guy?
yeah,
Can I trust him? And when you can see and hear,
that
because you
person.
know that communication is just way, I mean, written word is one thing, but if you can say it in a way that makes people feel a certain way, then you're game. Like you don't have to freaking write a whole sentence. You don't have to freaking put a long paragraph to explain what you do when you can just say it.
That's right.
Cool. So
Yeah,
brings us to the next question. All we talk about, I mean, there are a lot of exciting things that we could do, right? But how, as an organization, let's say if you're watching this, how do we go about and implementing it? Do we just, like, where to even start? Because we, on a daily basis, get people, get leaders of companies who reach out to us and wanted to implement this idea, wanted to build this piece of technology, wanted to embark on this digitalization initiative where they do VR, AR, a lot of different kind of initiatives. And a lot of times when we talk to them about, okay, this is the plan if you want to implement this, or this is this is what it takes to execute that. 9 times out of 10, a lot of them gets discouraged. And don't get me wrong, when I say discouraged, it's probably because you see, I can bet the all guys once you have every event management company once they land on Virtual Expo Dubai, they all wanted something like that,
yeah,
right? I mean, as a human being, we want the best.
Always.
We don't want to settle for the least. But a lot of times, if we want the best, do we have the best resources in terms of time, capital, and then manpower?
Yeah.
So I'm going to save you a lot
Yes.
of headache, kind of give you a thinking framework. If you want to implement all this, let's say we talk about virtual reality today, give you a thinking framework of, okay, let's say if you want to implement virtual reality, this the process, right? So first of all, the most important thing is resource. We all know that businesses, the majority of businesses are for profit, meaning that they survive and thrive because of money. So how much money you want to deploy to execute, to implement this? If the money is huge, if there is no limitation of money, then you can probably start with the Bentley right away. So in this context, virtual Dubai is probably, I would say, I mean, to me, I don't know about you, Roy. To me, the best, most, if I can put a VR goggle and then there I am, like I can literally imagine playing a game, a first-person shoot, uh, a first-person shooter view, an FPS, where I can move around and actually go to that building and see, okay, there's a screen there, click watch, and I'll be redirected. To me, that's the my definition of the best virtual expo. And you can probably get that if you have the money.
Yeah. Now. Yeah. You
Yep.
have the money, you can get that now. But yeah, like thinking about that, I just had this one crazy thought that just crossed my mind. Just imagine, like, if we can put in the element of real time into this virtual expo,
Like
that
now,
would be even
real
great.
time.
Yeah, like, yeah, like now we're doing live, that's real time. But what I mean is that whatever that's happening in the physical world is being real time rendered in the virtual expo. I think that is gonna be the next, how do we say it? Tahap gaban punya virtual expo. You know what I mean? And that is why all this virtual expo is becoming possible. I mean, sorry, not that is why all this virtual expo becoming possible, but because right now we are expanding on 5G, and I think once 5G connectivity is finally fully adopted all around the world, dude, that is possible already, bro.
It is.
It is. Like how snappy the World Dubai Expo just now was. That was amazingly snappy, dude, because in order for you to, you have to render 3D models, a lot of it. And then we can see birds flying in sky. There's dark mode. And then there's also people, there's a lot of events live going on in every buildings. Dude, that is a crazy bandwidth activity in terms of internet connection
Well,
bandwidth.
it, I think if they probably use a decentralized rendering to be
or
able
or,
to deploy that, but
or
we don't know. Yep.
decentralized
So
internet.
true. That's true. So back to that thinking framework, guys. First question: do you have resources? If the answer is yes, then there's nothing to worry about. You can find people who can execute your vision. If the answer is no, which happens to most people, we want to start looking into, okay, who out there has a plan? So a lot of times when we speak to uh, people or company leaders who wanted to implement these kind of things, when we ask them, what homework have you done? A lot of times they have not done any homework.
That's right.
So this is the danger about all these new technologies. You see, Now everybody wants to jump into Bitcoin. Everybody wants to mine. Everybody wants to buy. Everybody wants to buy this coin, that coin, that coin, that coin, because of the hype of it. But no one really actually understands the fundamentals behind it.
Yeah.
So the homework they have to do when it comes to virtual expo is, okay, what sort of interactions that I need for this expo? If it's just a one-way interaction, meaning that it's just people vomiting out information, like just videos of people where you don't need people, you there's no two-way communication, then you'll be able to go to the person who has a plan and tell them, okay, my plan is to put together a virtual expo where most of the communication is just going to be one-sided. So people buy and they just hear, they can probably leave comment, feedback, but that's to it. That's just to it. But I want to have the element where people can move around and stuff like that and watch different. Now what you've done is you have nailed down the scope, and this will allow the people who have a plan. So in this context, the people who have a plan is usually companies who can implement all the solutions for your company. They can now make decisions. They can now operate on a more. They can meet your resources. Simply put, right? So first one, resources. Number two, you have to do your homework in terms of, okay, what is the type of interaction I need, and then how many people am I expecting? So a lot of times when people say that they want to do virtual expo, you just imagine, guys, in real life you would have to book a huge event space. On a website, it may be just one link, but the hosting space. So the hosting space is actually the event space has to be
Big.
accommodating. Like it has to accommodate the amount of people that you want to go in. And I can tell you this: if you talk about more than 1,000 people, if you talk about, which typically big expo would expect, the hosting infrastructure is going to be the main cost, just
That's
like
right.
the event space. There's no difference between hosting a real life expo and a virtual expo. You will need a huge event space. In virtual, it means uh, a huge
Huge
hosting space.
hosting.
Now, obviously, the problem that we have is all these hosting spaces are expensive. So you want to start look into solutions like, this is the beauty of the blockchain technology. Decentralized hosting space is a more reliable solution and a cheaper alternative.
Solution.
Yes, obviously, it is not as popular as Amazon or Microsoft Azure and all these host server space, but this could be a solution that you could start look into. This could be the solution that people who have the plan can pitch to you and see if it makes sense for them, for you to implement that. So when we talk about homework, ask yourself all these questions. How many people? The questions that you would typically ask, I'm not going to lay out all the questions. You know the questions. The questions you would ask if you were to put together a real life expo. How do I get people to pay? How do I remind them?
How do I make sure they know how to navigate themselves?
True. So that
Smart.
brings you to the third one. So this framework is only three. Talk about resource. Number two, do your homework in terms of what do I need. And the third one is now you only go out and find people who can execute that plan. So the mistake with a lot of company owners is that they do number three first before they do number two. So
That's
they
right.
get discouraged when they're asked all these questions. So number three, people who have planned, they could people like us
Yeah.
who can code, who can program, who can put together all these solutions and test run it for you and actually deploy it. But typically, when we want to build something, obviously, as an architect, we would want to know a lot of things. So if you don't do your homework, this is going to be a very frustrating moment for you because now only you have to go out and do your homework. And the problem with that is that you see, you want to get to a point of I want to see if you can do it or not. But when we ask you all this, all of a sudden there is more restrictions that you will feel as if like then why are you asking so many questions? This is what we're seeing. The
Agreed.
reason why we want to make sure that you know what you want is so that you don't blindly jump onto all these solutions, being overpaying or underpaying only to get a subpar result, subpar implementation. So those are the three things that you have to do in this thinking implementation framework. Number one is ask yourself how much gunpowder do I have? How much resources I want to allocate in this? Number two is okay, do your homework when it comes to executing this virtual reality. What sort of interaction? How many people? How do I get them to pay? How do I get them to register? How do I inform them, remind them? Then number three, only you go out and start looking for people who can execute for you. This way, you will be able to reduce your risk of because
That's right.
implementing these big things, it comes with huge risk, guys. Because it's not something that you can just go to anybody, ask them to implement. You have to go to people who have experience implementing it. Only then you will have the confidence that it will happen. Because if it doesn't, then you will go through the risk of okay of failure. What if it doesn't happen? So that is it, gentlemen. We talk about virtual reality. I am pretty sure that in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years, you will see barrages of virtual expo, and then it will be a race to whoever can provide the most engaging interaction, the most if you, visceral experience to all this expo. And yeah, we'll see what we have to. We'll see how companies will adapt to this, and
It's
it's the
it,
future, guys. Like there's no way around it.
yeah, and
It's
and
coming.
and and it's a very 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 important race. I can say that people are now getting faster. Legit, technology is getting way 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 so fast. Just last year we had we had inquiries on those who want to have virtual expos for their events and stuff, and at that particular point, the only craziest stuff we can find on virtual expo was just a simple interior model of a building, and that's empty, and the 3D rendering looks like GTA San Andreas kind of rendering. That
No,
was just last year.
it looks like Minecraft. If you've played
Yes,
Minecraft,
yes,
that's how
yes.
it
It
looks
looks.
like.
Yes, yes, yes. That's more accurate. Looks
And
like
look what
Minecraft.
that was about what a year ago, and where we're at
Yeah,
now is a full blown Dubai Virtual Expo, guys.
yeah. So be quick, do research. It's a huge
Yep.
risk. Things are moving
Listen to
fast.
our.
The risk is bigger.
Make sure you tune in to Fixed Collab BTS every day, so you know what's going on, so you are updated with what's going on. And yeah,
Yes.
guys, I think that is it from our episode today. If you like, if you feel that this show is a little bit long, you can let us know. We are obviously in a stage of getting feedback, and we want to hear all sort of feedback, be it good or bad. And yeah, if you like what you are getting from this, let us know that. Also subscribe us to us on YouTube, like our content, share our content if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn. And yeah, we'll see you again tomorrow, guys.
Yeah.
Till then,
Hey, tomorrow what episode is gonna be? 3 or 5?
Tomorrow is gonna be episode 3. So we have, what we call that, teleported to the future, and we are gonna go back to reality.
Yeah. And then we sync back on day 5.
True. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We'll speak soon. Bye bye.